So I'm helping a client this week with the Beneficial Ownership Information Report, BOR, and we come across section 16. Here are the key details about this section. The primary purpose of section 16 is to distinguish between companies formed before and after the Corporate Transparency Act, the CTA, went into effect. This distinction is crucial because it determines the reporting company's deadline for the company and whether the company needs to report information about the company applicants. So those two pieces are why it's important. So the key points are section 16 is a checkbox located in the top left corner of the online BOR form. And so checking this box indicates that the reporting company was in existence before January 1st, 2024. And so the reporting deadline, companies existing prior to January 1st, 2024 have until January 1st, 2025 to file their initial BOR, or Beneficial Ownership Interest Reporting report. So the company application information, entities formed before January 1st, 2024 are not required to report information about company applicants. And that one really crossed me up because it was like, wouldn't it be the opposite? Wouldn't you want companies before 2024 to have to register for company applicants? And I think the issue is that if it's before 2024, when you set up the entity, you already included with the entity that information when you set it up. Not positive, but I'm just trying to think of what could that be? What would be the reason? Because if they just did it, why would you need to put it again? Wouldn't that be the most likely people who you would have that information on, the people who just recently did it? Confusing. Okay, so implications. If section 16 is checked, the company has a longer deadline to file its initial report. Checking section 16 implies the company was formed on or after January 1st, 2024, which means a shorter filing deadline, 90 days from the formation for companies formed in 2024. So companies that are filing before 2024, you have until the end of the year, which is September, October, November, December, January. Okay, if you waited till January, you missed it. If you are somebody who's filed in 2024, or somebody who's formed a company in 2024, you have 90 days. So that's why it's important to check this checkbox, because if you check the checkbox, then you get more time. If you don't check the checkbox, you get less time because you just recently formed your company. The requirements to include company applicant information in the report are different for each one, because if you are an older company, you don't have to include a company applicant. If you are a newer company, you do. And that's my guess. My guess is they can look back and see, based on when you formed it, when you've created the entity, if it was before 2024, they already have that information on file, probably because they pulled it. But people who just started, they're like, we haven't pulled that information yet. That's my guess, because I'm just like going, wouldn't it be the opposite? It seems like it would be the opposite, but it's not. Yeah. Understanding and correctly filling out section 16 is important to comply with the Corporate Transparency Act and avoiding any potential penalties or late or incorrect filings. So a company applicant is an individual in the formation or registration of a reporting company under the Corporate Transparency Act. Here are the key points about company applicants. The definition is the individual who directly files the company that creates or registers the reporting company. If more than one person is involved in the filing, the individual who is primarily responsible for directing or controlling the filing is the company applicant. So the key characteristics, there can be a maximum of 2 company applicants per reporting company. Company applicants are only required to be reported for entities formed or registered on or after January 2024. And the company applicant is not necessarily the owner or beneficial owner of the company. See, that's the interesting part. So they're not necessarily the owner, but they are the applicant. Yeah, that's the purpose of this video, is kind of get to know kind of where we're all standing, how the chips fall as far as the BOR, the BOIR, and what needs to have happen as far as company applicants and how this is all going to work for people. For rentals, for sure, but also for, really anybody who's wanting to efficiently kind of set up a business and run it with this limited liability protection, which is obviously what you want, just like a corporation has. So without having all the formalities of that go along with it. So yeah, this is it. If you got comments on some of this, you got more information on it, love to hear it, love to see it. And we'll keep you updated.